Coach, your team's resilience and poise there in overtime after Miami overcame that 15-point deficit in Jimmy Butler's game-tying shot.
That's what we talked about in the locker room just now. I mean, we were in the exact same scenario the last time we played them, and there was no heads being hanging. Our guys had a level of resiliency about them, toughness to know that they wanted to go out and get the game. They were decisive in their decisions. They communicated with one another. They sat down and guarded. So I think our guys did a great job of showing the growth from learning from one game to the next.
Did you tell the team after regulation, before overtime started, was their spirit still good? And what was the momentum going into overtime like as far as keeping them under control?
Well, just like the last time we played them going into the overtime with the tough shot, they walked in there and said, let's go get it. That was their demeanor. That was their level of confidence in themselves, because we had been there before. You can draw back. That's the great experience, the great part about experience, that for a young team, you have to go through it. You have to look at the scenario and say, what can we do differently? Where can we improve? And they showed that tonight.
Before the game, we talked a lot about Wendell Carter and what he can bring to the team. Just how significant was just his presence on both ends of the floor tonight?
He doesn't know how good he is. That's the crazy part. This young man is special. You talk about his defensive presence, his offensive presence, his toughness, the voice and the resiliency he brings to that locker room. He's a warrior. There's only a few guys that can do what he does. Guard pick and rolls with the big, sit down and guard a big one-on-one, switch a pick and roll with a guard, and then get possessions where he's making shots and rolling to the rim and finishing. And those are plays where he sacrifices, and that's how these guys feel about him.
And going to before Jimmy made the three, what was the message to the team in the huddle before that play? Was there a message of possibly fouling?
It's exactly the message was that between 4 and 10, you think about fouling if their back is turned. But the moment that Jimmy opened up, now you have the risk of giving up a 4-point play. So we had 2 people on the ball. You have to credit Jimmy for hitting a tough shot.
How important was Jalen tonight, especially in that fourth quarter?
You know, the great part about it, you saw Jalen grow in the moment from the first quarter to the fourth quarter. You know, there was a couple plays in that first half that he wasn't happy about, and he took the advice from coaches and the players, and he went and made the right play, the right decision, the simple play, the simple decision. I thought he was great down the stretch.
Coach Franz picked up that ankle injury in that fourth quarter. How did he seem in the locker room when you were back there?
He seemed okay. I mean, obviously, we're going to have to look at it and get it evaluated, and we'll know more, you know, possibly tomorrow. And the other side, I have to say it because our fans were fantastic. I cannot give these fans enough credit. They come out night in and night out, close game, and that support and that energy that they continue to give is something special. You know, for a team that's continuing to grow, continuing to get better, we feel all of that. So I can't say it enough.
On that note, kind of how important does this victory feel, just being kind of this in-state rivalry with Miami and considering how that last game ended?
I think it's big. I think it always goes back to growth, and obviously you come away with the victory, but I'm more proud of the fact that we were in the exact same scenario the last time we played them, and we didn't fold. We gained and learned and had from the experience of last time, and that shows growth of a young team, and that's what we're most proud of with these guys.
Thank you, Coach Mose.
Thank you.
First question. No, it's cash.
Jalen, your team's resilience and poise there in overtime after Miami overcame that 15-point fourth quarter deficit, and especially after Jimmy Butler's game-tying shot. What did you see from your team in that extra session?
You know, we said it while we were waiting for overtime to start. We were on the bench,
and came and said, we're made for these moments. This is where we outplay them. This is where we put our foot down, make a stand, protect home court. And I think we came out and did exactly that. We hit first. We got stops. We got great looks. Knocked them down. And with the crowd how it was tonight, it's easy to feed off that energy and. Big time win. When you can, this is a playoff team, a veteran team, a team that's been in a lot of high pressure, close game situations, in both playoff and regular seasons. So to come out and perform like that, late in the fourth and into overtime is huge for us.
Last time the Heat were here was almost like an identical situation. Last time the Heat were able to prevail in the extra session. This time you guys showed that resolve. Is this a sign of growth to be able to kind of turn the tables a little bit?
Absolutely. I think from everybody, myself, just kind of bouncing back, shaking back, I think might have been the worst first half of basketball I've ever played still. I wish I could just delete it. But, again, the players get confidence, coaches get confidence in me, and we just want to go out there and make plays and, get wins, and I think for us just as a team, being able to withstand their run, and shake back after, what they did late in the fourth, the buzzer beater, coming to overtime, Are you serious?
My bad, brother. It was a deep combo.
Still got some growing up to do still. To shake back like that, in a moment where you think they'd have all the momentum, is big time for us. So, yeah.
So, Coach mentioned your improvement and your resiliency throughout the game. You mentioned you kind of struggled to begin. In that fourth, you played well, and that was a big catalyst to your guys' winning. How'd you feel out there throughout just that whole process of kind of ups and downs?
What's it called? The flow state? Oh, man, I was in that still. It was fun. Again, like when you hit shots and make plays with a crowd like that, and you hear it roar, you can barely hear as you're running back. The teammates are matching the energy. It's fun, and it makes you want to make that play again and to finish with a win. I told Dell going into overtime, I said, we did way too much tonight. We were put too much on the line, sacrificed too much, to walk out of here with a loss, heading into this road trip. So let's go close it out. We did exactly that. So, a big one.
Jalen, can you talk about this is a part where your football experience might have came in handy. You drove and had that collision with Cody Zeller. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Oh, I hope he's okay still. They said he was bleeding. They said he hit his – Kyle Lowry kept saying he hit his head on his knee. Thought he was talking about me. So, I hope he's all right. I don't mean to hurt guys. I just try to go make plays still. But, I guess – I'm physical. I guess you see it in that. It kind of makes me miss it a little bit still. I don't get a chance to get it out anymore, so sometimes I just got to take a play to, get that. What are you laughing at, bro?
Wendell, what did Coach Mosley and the rest of the coaching staff talk to you guys about in between the final regulation buzzer and overtime to be able to withstand that rally by the Heat, especially after Jimmy Butler's game-tying shot?
We were there before. Last game we played against him, we went overtime, we ended up losing that game. So he just kind of, his message to us was like, just don't let it happen again. Whatever we have to do, get stops. Understand it's a 5-minute overtime game, so whoever comes out the strongest, and usually in the first 2 or 3 minutes, usually wins that overtime. So, we try not to hang our hat on the offensive end. I feel like we made crucial stops and limited them to one shot.
Coach Mosley was just saying before that you don't know how good you actually are. How much growth do you see in yourself going forward?
Just staying confident. That's something I've always struggled with throughout my career. If I miss 1 or 2 shots, I started to defer away from shots on the offensive end. And defensively, that's kind of where I hang my hat. Night in, night out. No matter what happens on the offensive end, individually, I just try to help my team, get stops, get rebounds, set great screens for other guys to get open, and then, just let the game come to me. So that's something that he's continued to preach to me, especially after the 3 games that I missed. I thought the third one was coming. That's it.
I think we're good. Everyone good? Our champ.
Yeah. Guys, congrats on the win tonight. There's only 14 games left in the season. You're about to head on a big road trip. Does this win save y'all's season? And is this the biggest win that y'all have had so far?
No. We got to win the next one, then the next one, then the next one, then the next one, then the next one. So that's what our mind is. Like, we don't want to look at a game like, oh, yeah, especially after getting a W, saying that, oh, yeah, like, we're good. Like, we could drop the next 3 or 4. You know, that's kind of like how the league goes. But, you know, our next focus is with San Antonio now. We got to get that one. Phoenix, LA. So that's kind of, personally, that's where my mind is. I don't even care about this game anymore. I'm ready to move on.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Can't make me laugh. You know, professional environment. Still, I did.